Good evening and welcome to the Fancast, episode 23. I'm your host, Brain Muffin, the lifting nerd. And with me tonight, all the way on the other side of the country, where he's smiling and driving, Mr. Eric Ward.
It's another Friday night. I'm stuck in gridlock traffic. Somebody please shoot me in the head.
Well, you're out there where they may just grant your wish.
Very true.
And our favorite Nuevo Jork, Liquid Metal Pro.
Liquid Metal Pro. Liquid Metal Pro. Who is the Liquid Metal Pro? I saw you filthy American bastard. I'll have you know, I ain't no Liquid Metal Pro. My name is Lalimim Paparajara. Say that name right.
Lalimim Paparajara, can I get a curry?
That's actual you, curry. Oh, you step into my 7-Eleven sometime. I saw it spit in your coffee. Whoop.
I want a Slurpee or whatever that is. Is that 7-Eleven?
Yes, it's a Slurpee. Come over here. You have exact change? I have no exact change in this thing. Or I send you to my Subway.
$4.
And they also have a lot of really good flavored coffee at 7-Elevens as well. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Yes, you filthy man. Now get your hands off my dirty magazines. If you're not gonna read, then put them down. This ain't a lending library, okay? Thank you. Come again.
Yes.
I don't buy magazines anymore.
Do you know Apu?
Guys, that was a character, wasn't he? But all right. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I know who Apu is. It is Apu, right, Brian?
Yep.
Apu. Why is that name sounding a bit? Oh, that's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, apparently, Simpsons is still stirring up controversy no matter how bad that show desperately needs to die. And in a recent, actually, this is going to take place, I believe, this Sunday. They're going to do a documentary, I think, on True TV, exploiting how the character of Apu, and by the love of God, despite me being a Simpsons fan for so many years, I still cannot pronounce his character's name right, as much as I love him and enjoy his character. And it's Apu Nahasa Pasa. Fuck it, I'm not even gonna try. I'm just gonna go. It's Nahasa Pasa Pa. I'm raising a pervert. Anyways, he was actually called that in an episode.
Nahasa P. Mapatelan.
Oh God! By saying that one,
Nahasa P. Mapatelan. Mapatelan. Hey, yeah, so, that's a mouthful in 2/3.
It
Not
really
to
is.
offend anyone, but he's a towel head.
No, he's not.
Well, technically, no, because
he's Indian.
No, he's
Hindu.
Oh,
well,
okay. I don't watch Simpsons, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe in one episode he had to meet I think it was like the highest order of the quickie mark somewhere in India, and the Himalayas or something like that. So, and I believe he had a towel on his head. So you might be right.
Yeah, but if it's Indian, then it's probably Sikh. That's not a turban.
Then he's a dot head. Then.
There you go. Well,
isn't it that bad though? Like, is that in like a sniper shot or something?
No, that's Hindi. It's Hinduism. That's your seeing eye.
God, we here in New York City really are some uneducated people. Yet we will fight for every social justice cause out there. Good for us. Anyways.
So you want to tell us why you're bringing this up?
Yeah, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, I mean, the show's been on for more than 20 years, and it has been no stranger to controversy, no stranger to starting controversy, and they've even tackled they've done a few episodes where they've tackled SJWs and this whole politically correct culture. Recently, they did an episode on that, too, with regards to Yale. I haven't watched it because, let's face it, the show's been trashed for the last couple of years. I really would just like to get the old Yeller treatment and just be put down mercies of the... God damn it. The spick in me and allow me to pronounce basic American words. It's a mercy kill. But apparently what has happened is that this comedian I have heard nothing about before. I didn't even know this was a comedian. And he's a Brooklyn-based comedian, which is also what I find very baffling about this. His name is Hari Kondabolu, who is a child of Indian migrants, and he's himself a stand-up comedian. has basically said how the character of Apu has always been a running joke, and that the running joke is that he's Indian, and that this has somehow affected his life with the way he has been treated and how Indians are perceived. So what I find, aside the fact that he's a stand-up comedian, also the fact that he's a Brooklyn-based comedian, I would think that someone from Brooklyn would have more, or at least Brooklyn-based would have more of a spine and sense of humor to understand
thick skin, yeah, thick skin.
Exactly. Aside from that, Apu himself has been a character that's also evolved with the series. He isn't just your typical Indian person, but rather he is a story of someone who comes from another country. He came on a student program, a student visa essentially, and there was even an episode on him tackling illegal immigration, where he himself became an illegal immigrant when his student visa expired, never bothering to renew it, but in a sense also admitting to the family, the Simpsons, and some of the other characters that he liked it here in the United States, and he never thought of the possibility of ever going back to India, because now he himself he like he became an American. He picked up the language, he picked up the culture a little bit. Yeah, there are certain things that he still does that are callbacks to the motherland, but overall he assimilated. And while the documentary hasn't been out yet, it reminded me of another instance where we had something similar happen a couple years ago. This was back during I would say probably in the first year of the Gamergate days, and that's another controversy, another story for another time, where there was another, I believe this was another, I think this was like a Latino director or something like that, did something for, he did a special like that for, what was it, MTV, where he took a similar approach, where he was, instead of doing the whole minority thing, he was doing like a Dear White People thing video. So basically it's this kind of anti-white but kind of pro-immigrant, and it's kind of this weird SJW thing creeping its way into culture right now. And even InfoWars was talking about, are they going to go as far as to try to ban a character like Apu just to satisfy a few hurt feelings.
The same people that would bitch and complain if there wasn't an Indian character on the show.
And it's people. Well, this guy may. Well, it sounds like this guy has not actually watched the show. I mean, being in the IT realm and being a programmer, I have been around Indian people of Indian and Pakistani and Bangladesh, origins for over 20 years. I met people that are engineers. There's some that have been database administrators and server administrators and programmers and project managers and everything else. Never once has any of them ever asked me about the Simpsons, let alone Apu. And so I think they just thought to tell this guy to pound sand. So it's because Apu is the accent is somewhat stereotypical, but you know what? So are the Southern hicks that you find on the show, and they're kind of eccentric and I don't know, they're overly enunciated for that type of accent. But I've even had people that I'll do my fake Indian accent with them when we go back and forth about something, especially when we're trying to be funny with each other. So, yeah, this person's got no skin. I mean, forget thin skin. This is ridiculous. Apu is not, is it really a stereotype that if you go to a lot of 7-Elevens and the guy running the place is Indian, or if you go to a convenience store? I mean, of the convenience store / gas stations around us, probably half of them are run or owned by an Indian person, or there's a stereotypical American who doesn't know geography from a hole in the ground would say, "Oh, they must be from India," when they might be from several different countries. It'd be like if I don't know if there's a character on The Simpsons that's or runs a nail salon. Are they Vietnamese? If they would, I mean.
I believe that has been done, but I don't think there's a regular character that I can recall.
All the ones around here are. Doesn't mean anything. I mean,
It's the same here in where I live.
This invention.
What's it, Eric?
I heard of this. I was gonna say, I wonder if this is heard of this invention. It's called the remote control. You don't like something, you can push a button, and you can go to another channel and watch whatever you'd like to watch.
Yep.
It's really it's amazing like that.
Well, I mean, like you guys, I'm pretty sure, like, based on what you guys have said, and this is something that I've said about like Star Wars on my end. I'm an outsider looking in. I never really got into it. You guys were really into The Simpsons, but you seem to have a basic understanding or a basic grasp of like what the show was trying to get at.
It's funny. It's supposed to be funny.
Supposed to be a satire. Like this character was even explored like that very early on. Like, he wasn't a character that just appeared out of the blue like later seasons. He was there since the very beginning. In fact, we were watching FX does like basically is like the new home of The Simpsons right now, so they'll play like the older episodes starting from the very first season. Now, I can't recall if it was the first season. I'm pretty sure it was. It was an episode where Krusty the Clown got arrested, and Apu appeared in that episode. Now, I don't remember if it was what episode number that was. I'm not that hardcore fan that I know like which episode is canonically the chronological order of episodes or releases. I'm not going to go that far, but even then, they had a bit of like that stereotypical joke. But it's usually the thing with stereotypes is that sometimes there's a little bit of truth to them. And hell, like I said, that's kind of how some of them that's kind of somehow the convenience owners used to be. If it wasn't a bodega down the street, it was probably owned by somebody who was Indian, Pakistani, somewhere in that region, typically Hindi. And they would talk with that type of accent or something similar to it, and they would have similar mannerisms. But they would also, it wasn't like you couldn't understand the word they were saying either. And some of them were like the people out there.
All good comedy, or any really good joke, has got a little bit of an exaggeration to it. That's the whole point.
Exactly.
People are so goddamn sensitive about everything nowadays. It's fucking pathetic. If you don't like something, don't fucking watch it. There's 1,000 fucking channels on TV now. You have fucking Netflix, you have Hulu, whatever else you want to watch. If you don't like what's on the channel you're watching, change the channel.
It's just a power trip. That's what it is.
Fucking whining. Get over it. I don't like a lot of shit, so you know what? I don't watch it.
Truer words should never have been said, and you said it. Like, that's it. I agree with you.
I don't like the home shopping network. So guess what? I don't fucking watch the home shopping network. I'm not calling for it to be banned. I don't like the local news, so I don't watch the local news. I don't like MSNBC, so I don't watch it. But I'm not calling for it to be banned or changed. Whatever. If they want to churn out their brand of news, whatever, go for it. Nobody's watching, which is great, but whatever floats your boat.
I agree. Well, part of this gets into one of our other items that we had on discussion, and that's this thing with, and there's still some debate on how much estrogen soy does. But the thing Paul Joseph Watson did a thing about the soy boys that he called in info. I know Alex Jones covered it in several different videos. But,
soy boy.
Yeah, it's it does contain progesterone compounds, and what's amazing is what's the it's the ass cancer of the internet. What's that called? Come on, LMP, help me out here.
Which ass cancer? You got to be more specific.
Well, it's one of the. It's mostly they do videos and they have blogs and
Tumblr,
BuzzFeed.
Oh, that ass cancer.
Yeah. So 4 of those guys on there, they did some tests a few weeks ago to get their testosterone, and their testosterone is lower than the average testosterone of an 85-year-old male. And what's
Not drinking
amazing
soy milk.
is they all love these.
That's not good.
No, it's not good. And
That's not good.
and these soy products that the problem is what they're making them out of. They're highly processed. They're taking lots of parts of the soybean plant that shouldn't be used, that have much higher rates of the estrogenic compounds. And these people are eating a lot of it. And Paul Joseph Watson showed where all these really whiny, cucky men, manginas really, all of them, they're constantly also tweeting about the soy they're eating and the tofu and all this other stuff. And it's not, they have some reduction in the eastern countries where they eat a lot of tofu, but they're also eating a very different soy product than what we are. What we get in the States is highly concentrated. There's also been lots of studies that show that because of the high use of birth control pills and things, there's estrogen and stuff in the water supply. So, people want to say it's conspiracy theories, but just go do your chemistry. You can disprove these things very easily if you study it, but the studies show that it's happening. Now, whether it's the biggest cause or whatever, but Paul Joseph Watson showed a picture of a guy that I swore was a woman who was barely in the
I've
breast.
seen that picture too. It was like a double take. Like,
Yeah,
what the hell?
but he said it's verified as a guy. And on the other side are the women who are just screaming and hollering and having all these hard times dealing with the reality. If it's true and their estrogen levels are off the chart, this is exactly the kind of behavior we'd expect. And
What these pussies need is they need caveman.
yeah, they do need caveman. I tell you what they need is they need to be beat up by Frankenthugs. So go support the damn movie.
And there you go.
Give them $50 and we can have this thing in Atlanta.
Shameless plug number one.
Yep. Oh, we're going to get into shameless. They're going to be shameful plugs by the end of the evening. But
That's what she said.
it all, yeah. They all fit, all this stuff. It's like it's a coincidence if it happens once or twice. But when things, one thing after another starts lining up, and you look at how the government starts to change, and certain things are no longer legal, and they'll send the police after you. You can't have raw milk. They don't like whole food, various things, and they got to have processed this and processed that. And there's been in not so much in the States, although it has happened, not quite a police raids, but England has had police raids on. No, I thought it would actually happen here in the States at a farmer's market because they had raw milk, and we're talking guns drawn and flak jackets worn. Like they're selling Coke or something. It's like, at what point do the police say, you know what, we're not going to enforce some stupid ass law about raw milk or organic eggs? This is not a criminal.
Oh, it's going to go from something like a Night of the Living Dead scenario to the Night of the Living Pussy scenario.
Oh, I think we're kind of there. I mean,
Bunch of cucks.
Dear God.
Bunch of cucks walking around.
Look at all the things that
terrorizing the country.
Well, look what the stuff Antifa promised us on November 4th, and then look what happened.
Oh, they're full of shit.
So, they were going to celebrate the Russian Revolution of 100 years ago, and they did nothing.
Most of those Antifa cucks, they don't even know what the Russian Revolution is. Bunch of fucking idiots.
Well, yeah, they have this. They think they like communism, but they haven't lived in a gulag yet.
No, it's like the people that bash Trump. Whether you like Trump or not, most of these dipshits, if you went up to them and said, "Okay, give me 5 reasons why you don't like Trump," they couldn't give you 2.
He ate the Mexicans. That's what it is. He ate the Mexicans.
That's the only defense they have. And I hear that shit out here all the time. Trump's a racist. Really? Why is he a racist? Because he's a racist. Okay, why is he a racist? Because he wants to deport Mexicans. He doesn't want to deport Mexicans. He wants to deport illegal immigrants who just happen to be Mexican. So
just happens to be the majority.
Racist? Yeah, how's that racist? That's racist. That's enforcing the laws on the books. Well, fuck him. It's like, okay, well, thanks for having a really in-depth discussion with me.
Right. Well, a lot of people that are here legally want him to deport the illegals because, don't give them amnesty. If you've been working hard and had an H-1B visa and to finally get a sponsor to get a green card and you follow all the rules, do you think you want someone jumping the fence and getting in front of you?
And trust me, there's a lot of Mexicans out here that can't stand those people. But get them the fuck out of here.
Right.
So it's kind of a mixed bag. You'd be surprised how many Mexicans out here don't like, they just refer to them as wetbacks, but they do not like them.
Well, it's like something like I've grown up with this, knowing this a lot my whole life. I mean, I'm not obviously Mexican, but hey, let's run with the joke for shits and giggles. But Hispanics here typically have had this issue where they would not like other Hispanics from other countries. There's always been this kind of like weird cultural. It's like you would have think that someone like, let's say, from Chile would probably get along with someone from, say, I don't know, like Colombia, right? But when you have a lot of illegal immigration and then you have things like limited resources, and let's not kid ourselves, some illegal immigrants also engage in getting things like state sponsored resources, such as things like welfare and such. Not necessarily for them, but their children that might be born here because they're entitled to those rights. It becomes to a point where it's like now you're all fighting for the same resources. All of a sudden now the gloves are off. All of a sudden now they look at each other as enemies. So this has been, and it's not even just with other Hispanics. Hispanics haven't gotten along, and I've said this before in previous episodes. We haven't gotten along. There's been times we haven't gotten along with other races, or other races don't even look at us with a certain level of, I guess, respect because of the way we carry ourselves. And just watch the news, put on Spanish news, and you can see that every single day. It's kind of like, how there's black on black violence? Well, there's basically spick on spick violence. And I'm going to use that terminology because that's how we act. We're acting
Dude, and it sucks, man. I'm Whitey the here. But dude, man, I love Hispanic people, man. They're fucking cool as hell, man. And it's like it's bullshit because I have a lot of Hispanic friends, and it pisses me off. Anytime that subject gets brought up, you're automatically lumped in with, the KKK.
Oh yeah, man, that's awful for you guys.
I guess I had to say something.
I thought it was my connection.
Yeah. No, but that is true. We if you speak out against something that's obvious, oh, you must be a racist or you must be a sexist it's like, no, stereotypes and way people view each other, these ideas are not created in a vacuum. They have some background to them. Now, whether people take them out of proportion or not, that's a different story. And did he drop?
Yeah, it looks like he probably connection issue or something like that.
Right.
He really was going in and out, and I thought it was my connection.
So, but the recording didn't stop. And this is something we've talked about before too.
Yeah.
Where you can't criticize. I mean, yes, there are some things that are irrational, right? You don't have to fear gay people because they're not coming to convert you. But if you got some people that go around infecting people with AIDS on purpose, what is that?
Oh yeah, was it California law?
I dropped the signal.
Yep, we got you back. So, can you know where you were, Eric? You want to continue?
No, I was just saying. I don't know where I got cut off. I was just saying it just sucks, when live in a state that's got a large population of Hispanic people. Not just Hispanic people, but LA, man, it's all of California. It's a huge melting pot. I'm sure much like New York. And it just sucks, man, when, I love everybody for the most part. If you don't shit on me, I won't shit on you. But it's like, fuck you. Yeah, it's like, fuck you if I can't have an opinion. It doesn't make me a fucking racist. It's like, get over yourself,
Exactly.
I mean, there's just as many white people that I think are pieces of shit as brown people. So, I don't care.
That's
you're a piece of shit. If you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit.
That's the reality, man. It really is. See, that's the thing. I don't think that either they don't understand it or they don't want to understand it. And I'm referring to the obvious group, SJW mindset, the hive mind. It's that you're gonna have pieces of shit in any cultural background because let's just face it, there is such a thing as good and evil. Some people are just naturally, whether either they were born that way, they became that way, they were shaped that way. You're gonna have pieces of shit, and you're gonna have who should probably just, I'm not saying go out and just eradicate them and take them out of the picture, but still follow the process. Still follow due process, the law, just causes all that stuff. Don't just take them out just because you disagree with them or they just happen to be pieces of shit. You got to follow. We still got to follow laws, people. Let's be rational.
Exactly.
Let's have
if you don't have law, what do you have? You have chaos, disorder. Like all these Antifa cucks, and all these socialist cucks, these young kids that honestly have not done their fucking homework. It's like, go look up history. Check out History Channel sometime if you don't want to read a book. They have tons of documentaries on Stalin. Go check out China sometime. Go Google an apple factory in China and tell me how great that would be to grow up in that. These people have no fucking clue as to what they're trying to promote. Life is not supposed to be fair. That's the whole point. Not everybody. You can't put everybody in the same box in the same circumstance, and not everybody's going to have success like somebody else will. Like a lot of people, you got to go out and earn it. Well, sometimes you can go out and bust your ass, and you still won't have success. It's the roll of the dice. It's timing. It's a bunch of different factors, and these kids nowadays that were have grown up in the last 20 years. It's a sense of entitlement. It's like, you're not special.
Definitely.
I mean, how old are your kids, Brian? Aren't they in their late teens or early 20s?
Yep.
How do they feel about a lot of this type of these subjects?
Well, my son he's aware of the stupidity. He listens to a lot of Stefan Malnew and Milo and Yiannopoulos, and my daughter's kind of in between. She's kind of being blown by the wind a little bit, and some of this she gets, and some of it, she doesn't. And she was one of those people afraid to death that if Trump gets elected, she didn't like Hillary either. She kind of was a Bernie supporter, although, we told her, well, where do you think the money for the education comes? And mainly it's because, going to school, she didn't want to take loans out, but she isn't really doing anything to go to college anyway. But, so she's kind of in between on some of these things, but yeah, some of it she doesn't, I don't know what she thinks of these latest allegations and all this other stuff going on. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm defending Al, but the more I look at that picture of him and Leanne, I don't even know if he's touching her. And she's got a flak jacket on. So is it an appropriate picture? No. Is it funny? No, not really. It's sophomoric, which is stereotypical of his humor. But, to me, this is not sexual assault. This is not, people want to conflate that with rape, basically. And, looking at Joe Biden, I know we were talking about him before, comparing it to what Joe Biden's doing for Creepy Joe, it's like for years he's been doing that. And this is the only allegation against Al that's come out. Right?
Well, also, too, if she was so offended, why didn't she say something?
Well, and it's been 11 years. That's the other problem I have with some of this stuff is people are complaining years and years and years. And I understand people say, well, and it's, and this image was taken by somebody. This image is not, where's it been?
And she has the form. Because she's a big personality out here in Los Angeles,
right?
Particularly in sports media. So she's had the form to say something. He's been up, in Washington now for I think 8 or 9 years.
Yeah,
so
I think
it's
he's
not
on his
like
second
he's
term.
flown under the radar. Yeah, so
Right.
it's not like she couldn't, try to take him out if she wanted to
Right.
at some point.
Because I think this was 2006. I think is when this.
Yeah, something like that.
But I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not excusing this. It is sophomore. This is like what teenagers would do. But I'm not going to say, hey, Al Franken is a sexual pervert here or predator. I mean, he might be, but this is the only thing we've got where we've got lots of other people who are doing far worse things. This is nothing compared to what Clinton was doing to women back even as governor of Arkansas. And those are real crimes. There's no real crime here.
And he paid off a shitload of women.
Right.
Shitload.
Yeah, I didn't even learn about all this stuff till like years later. It's
right.
Well,
if you ever want to watch a good documentary, go watch something called The Clinton Chronicles.
I'm gonna watch that because I've already seen Clinton.
You'll get a real good idea of how Bill was.
Well, I didn't touch that woman. She touched me.
And that trail of sleaze, him and his wife.
Well, I'll tell you this much: I did not touch Hillary.
Would you want to touch Hillary?
No.
How drunk do I have to get?
And what you were back to what you were talking about, Brian. I mean, I don't know how you feel at work. Same with you, LMP. I'm to the point anymore at work, dude. I don't want it because every once in a while, I run across somebody and they'll come over and give me a hug or something. I'm to the point anymore. I don't want to even touch anybody. I just like, hi, how are you? How's your day? It's like, it's just to the point anymore. It's just this shit is getting out of control. You could look at somebody the wrong way now, and they could say that you were undressing them with your eyes or some stupid shit like that, and call up HR, and then who knows, man? You could be out of a job. It's getting that crazy.
Well, to go further on what you're saying, and this is actually something I'll probably get a little bit more into because this was compared to what I was saying about the Gamergate days. For again, anybody who's still not aware of what happened during Gamergate, that was the whole Zoe Quinn and Monday Mad controversy. It really was about a false DMCA claim. But of course, for anybody who knows who Zoe Quinn is, major feminist, major SJW, it took off, and then you had people on different sides joining in, most notably on the SJW side, people like Zoe Quinn, Randy Harper, John McIntosh, and especially Anita Sarkeesian. Now, the reason why I brought up that last name here, and John McIntosh was another douchebag, that beta cuck that probably likes watching his girlfriend get nailed by other dudes. I'm speculating. I'm not accusing anything because apparently that can even get you sued now.
Well, it's all about inclusion,
Yeah. So, well, she's including someone in her body.
Oh, yeah. Fuck my girlfriend. It's all about inclusion. You want everybody to feel good.
All right, but in all seriousness, what happened there was that there was a topic brought up of that you should owe, and this is something that has actually been brewing for a while now. I don't know how far back, but I know as far back I became aware of it during that time. So I think Gamergate was in 2014. I believe it was late 2014, sometime in August. So sometime after 2014 into 2015, where the whole thing of listen and believe started becoming a whole trending thing, and then you had the issues with Elliot Rodger, and he shot up them girls and killed those 3 guys, 2-3 guys, I don't remember. So they started getting all this ammunition, all this firepower, and it was this whole culture they were trying to create where it's like you always listen and believe. If a woman tells you she's been assaulted, she's been raped, she's been groped, she's been harassed, you always believe the woman. And it is bullshit. And then again, the thing is that it especially for us men, it harbors on something a natural instinct of us, which is to protect. Not necessarily protect just women, not women, but children as well, but necessarily to protect, we see someone else in distress, or we see them in distress, we react on that. So if you hear a woman crying out for help, whether or not she's lying, all we're thinking of instinctively is to protect her, to help her. So this preys upon on men that in natural instinct for us to protect, to be guardians, so to speak, to be protectors, defenders, to be the hero. If anybody else hasn't picked up on it already. But the other side of the argument, this was actually a very valid argument that got brought up, and even us on the Gamergate side even had to kind of like take a step back and really think about what the situation was, what the nature of the beast was becoming. And that was the other side of the argument, which was trust, but verify. Meaning, yeah, don't call her a liar. Don't, you can believe what she's saying, but before you make any like judgments, just go through the facts before you rush to conclusions. And that's basically what's being brought up again here. It really started with this Weinstein thing that became like this running, it's been shit rolling downhill ever since. And the question is so much here that I have, it is not so much, okay, are these women lying? Are these women telling the truth? We're all getting a good laugh out of this. And let's face it, it just kind of comes with the territory once this comes out to light. It's funny for us, probably hell for these people. But is there some truth to all of this? There probably is. We've known for years. We've heard stories about like Hollywood and the casting couch. So, it doesn't sound far-fetched. But it's come to a point now. Now all of a sudden you're starting hearing all these accusations coming out of the woodwork. And my question, this is something I have even with the whole Weinstein accusations, are you doing this legitly for morals, or are you doing this for some level of fame? Particularly for the women who claim Weinstein violated you in whatever way, shape, or form. Are some of them owe some of their success to him, including their notoriety and the awards they won. Are you willing to take the moral high ground, so to speak? I'm not saying give up your awards, but admit to yourself that what you're doing not for the fame of it, to keep your career going, and to just throw him under the bus, but rather to do this because it's a noble cause. Because that's my other concern here. And I agree with what you're saying. It comes to a point where
what's happening.
Go ahead.
What's happening is it's just another way to put women up on a pedestal. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I love women too. But
Yeah,
I'm
BBC.
sorry, women have just as many flaws as men have. For instance, I look at some, Terry Crews, the black actor from the Expendables movies. He came out and told his story about being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
And it's out there, but it's nothing like, all these women that are come out. It's just not getting anywhere near the press that it is. And it's like, that's just as fucked up and wrong as, what happened or what allegedly happened to these women. But yet, it doesn't really get talked about. I mean, the Kevin Spacey thing had a little bit of attention, but even that's kind of dying off.
Yeah, because it goes back to the whole like men being protectors thing. Like, men can never be the victim, and in Terry Crews' case, I'm glad you brought that up. It's fucked up because the way I don't know if he said it himself or this was paraphrased, the way he was trying to explain it is like he couldn't come out because if you look at him, you saw this tall, muscular, very strong, very, very healthy black man, intimidating looking person if you didn't know who he was. And he apparently said that it was groped by, it's speculated, I don't know if this is what he said or what was repeated, a smaller, older Jewish guy groping him. It's like, how would it look if he had fought back?
Yeah, the guy, I saw his interview he did this week, him and his wife. I think they're on the Today Show. Yeah. It was a really powerful agent at, I believe, William Morris Agency. And he said they were at a party, and this guy came up and grabbed his package. He said it took everything he had to not just fucking destroy this guy. He's like, he gave his wife credit, and his wife kept him in check. But, that's a violation, man. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If someone comes up and grabs your crotch, that's obviously way, way overboard. It's not good.
Yeah,
Not good.
Oh, that's
But
makes me feel
but
sorry. For guy.
but it's a guy, so it's not that big of a deal. He'll get over it.
Yeah, like let's not talk about Terry Crews. Terry Crews. Nothing happened to him. Let's pay attention to what's happening to this chick over here.
Or look what if you want to take it a step further, look at how every October is Breast Cancer Awareness. Hey, I'm all for saving the tits. Okay, I'm a big fan. But you don't have a penile cancer month. Nobody gives a shit about the dicks.
Hey, and you need dicks to populate the world. So
I'm just saying, if you think about it, it's like you never hear about shit like that. You don't have a prostate cancer month.
Mm-hmm.
Prostate cancer kills a hell of a lot of men.
It does. It really does, and we have to subjugate ourselves to a finger up the butt.
Yeah.
There's some fucked up shit out there. It really is.
It's just, and it's all about putting, women on pedestals. You watch. I know I'm getting way off the point here, but it's like, you watch most TV shows. The woman is always the smartest. She keeps the house in check. And without her, nothing would be possible. And the father is a bumbling stooge who can barely tie his fucking shoes.
So we're talking about The Force Awakens, right?
Pretty much. But seriously, man, watch like any fucking sitcom. The guy's always a fucking dipshit, and the woman's always the smart one.
Well, we were talking about The Simpsons earlier this episode with my horrible racist Indian accent. So there you go. We were talking about stereotypes. We were just talking about that one. Oh, Jesus, man. It's really like, no, what you're saying is correct though, because it's like we may sound like we're just getting all political, all preachy, and maybe somebody might be thinking we're praising MGTOW or something in the comment section. We're not. But the reality is that this is creeping into entertainment, and
it's just getting to the point in more. If you're a red-blooded male, you're fucked.
we're getting to that point. We really are. It's in hell. It's not even to the point that before it was like they attacked, what was it, the straight white male. Now they're attacking males in general.
Yeah. I mean, you can't even go to work and comment like, "Oh, you look really nice today." I mean, it could be a 70-year-old woman. Hey, you look really nice today, even though the thought of fucking 70-year-old fucking chick never enters your mind. You're just saying it to be nice, and that could be construed as sexual harassment. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Oh man, all this rape talk got me thinking now about the dumb stuff that we have going on in entertainment.
Dude, I'm glad I'm not single, man, because it's fucked up out there.
That's a conversation for me another time now. But
all right, let's move on to a lighter topic then.
Yes, there you go.
There we go. I think we've talked that one to death. All right, so who's seen the Deadpool 2 teaser trailer?
I did. It was
hilarious as fuck.
That was, that was great. With what's the painter's name?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
What, wasn't it?
Bob Ross.
Oh, Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Bob Ross. That's my secret bush. If you tell anyone I cut you, Ross.
I picked up on the same thing. Nick may even mention that every time they cut back to the painting, it's quite different.
Yes.
And then the painting at the end was pretty funny. I was like, wow, I agree. I want that as a painting. Put that one next to Vigo.
Definitely.
Or maybe the painting at the end of Ghostbusters 2.
I used to love that guy's fro, man. I remember watching him back in the 70s. It's hilarious.
Whatever happened to Bob Ross?
I think he died.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, did he die doing his was he still doing his show when he passed away, or?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think it's funny. Like, you go in these department stores and you see all this, different stuff out now. Merchandise related to them, T-shirts and stuff, and it's just funny. It's like, where did this shit come from?
Well, I got a dumb question right now. It just kind of struck me because I believe he was on PBS also, wasn't he?
I think so.
Well, that's
okay.
That was on PBS. Yeah, he died in '95.
Okay,
wow.
So I don't know if you guys might know where I'm going with this, but between Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers.
I used to watch that too.
do you think would win in a fight? Because I think both of them might secretly have been
Oh, I think Bob Ross would fuck Mr. Rogers up. I don't think Fred Rogers had a mean bone in his body. I really don't.
Really?
I could be wrong, but
Oh man.
think about it. If they got into a fight, think about it. Bob would have his easel. He could just smack over Mr. Rogers' fucking head. I mean, what did Mr. Rogers have? His shoes, his sweater. Bob could fuck him up.
But wasn't Mr. Rogers a Vietnam War vet?
Mr. Rogers? No, not at all.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that man has at least killed one person in his life.
I have no idea. I've never heard of that.
What do you think, bro?
I think there was a rumor, if you will, that Mr. Rogers was a Marine and landed on Iwo Jima, but I don't think it's true.
Well, hello, neighbor. Fuck you.
Right. No, I don't. I think it's one of those. Right. I think it's a urban legend. But hey, I'll look it up really quickly while you guys fill the dead air with something else.
I can tell you I know who kicked both their asses. Captain Kangaroo. He fucked both those guys up.
You might be right about that. I mean, I was young to remember that, but Captain
Kangaroo was a big dude.
Yeah, I do remember that. Damn.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself. He was.
Yeah, it's Rogers. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, it was a rumor that he was a.
Mr. Robinson could take all three of them.
Yeah, right. He was not a Navy SEAL. He was not a Marine sniper. He was not in the military.
So it would be Bob Ross then, basically, in that fight. He probably would just stab him with his brush hill or something.
Hey, LMP, have you ever seen the Eddie Murphy satire SNL back in the day where he played Mr. Robinson? It was a takeoff on Mr. Rogers. It was Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, man.
That sounds familiar. I might have it, I just don't remember.
It's funny, man. Check it out.
I'll check it out later.
That wasn't the you want some ice cream? You want a lick site? That was different, right?
Oh.
That was you can't have none because you're on welfare.
Yeah, but he used to have, he'd do his word of the day and stuff I forget what he'd use, but it was funny, man.
Oh God, I gotta see
you on the welfare. Yeah, it was funny. Actually, I think that was the first skit that really catapulted Eddie Murphy into the stratosphere and SNL.
Oh man, so God,
he also played. No, not Alpha. I mean Buckwheat. Check that out too. He did Buckwheat.
I know about Buckwheat. That I do know.
Yep. You want a lick? Psych. Yeah, you owe Tay. Yeah, that was also. Yeah.
You owe Tay.
Yeah, my wife had that on her car as a plate when I first met her. First few years we were married. Well, no, I guess once we got married, she had to do Tennessee plates. She got rid of it, but yeah, you owe Tay.
No. Without Eddie Murphy, we wouldn't have had the great Charlie Murphy.
Very true. You know Eddie Murphy did an album in the 80s. Actually, did a couple albums, but in the mid 80s, he put out a very successful album called "How Could It Be." Have you ever heard that single off it called "Party All the Time"?
Yeah, I've heard that song numerous times in the weirdest places.
Him and Rick James.
Oh yeah,
that was a big hit.
It was. I wonder how much helium he had to ingest to do that song.
I don't know. Rick James, bitch.
Woo, yeah. My girl likes to party all the time.
Yep, that's the one. Well, at least wherever he is at right now, Charlie Murphy probably is beating up Rick James again.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so it made me excited to, I know it was a teaser,
His brother,
but
he's in the video.
yeah, it's got me kind of pumped to see that movie, at least so far. What I like about the Deadpool movie, it was a bit, it kind of wagged its middle finger at stereotypical superhero movies. I really like that.
It really did, because I mean, there were a lot of jokes and there were a lot of like weird, like even with the casting wise, I kind of understood some of the jokes that they were getting at. For example, like damn, he dropped off the map again. Like for example, like the choice of Colossus and Megasonic. Was it Megasonic Teenage Warhead? I think it was her name. The teenager girl. Well, they were basically supposed to represent his. I believe it was the id and the superego.
All right.
Because in the comics, he actually they're like voices in his head. So I'm guessing because that wouldn't have translated too well, or maybe it probably would have come off as tasteless, or maybe just complicated. I don't know. But the way they had like Colossus be like, "No, Deadpool, you don't kill," and then Megasonic Teenage Warhead just basically doing whatever the hell she wants. So it was a good casting choice, and I believe I saw her in the trailer too. So I was like, great, this might actually still be pretty entertaining. Like Deadpool was really just something different. Like it wasn't your stereotypical hero movie, and I still remember parents angrily taking their kids to that movie.
Sorry about that.
Nah, it's cool. You hit the best part. When I saw parents taking their kids to watch Deadpool, thinking, it's probably like a Spider-Man friend or something like that.
Yeah.
And like the dick jokes, the vag jokes, the jokes about rape, the jokes about getting him taking it with the strap on. Like the masturbation jokes. Oh my god! Like me and my brother were dying watching that movie. Yeah.
That's definitely a very family-friendly movie.
Yeah, just like Sausage Party was.
Why would anybody take their kid to see Sausage Party?
Oh, because it's animation. It's for kids.
People don't know what it's about.
It's called. You Google it and you read the summary of what the movie is. It's not difficult.
Yeah. But, that takes effort, and makes parenting hard.
That's true.
So who wants to do all that?
Yeah. Oh, man. But speaking of trailers,
Deadpool looks awesome.
Oh, no, that's without a doubt. I am definitely going to watch that when that comes out. But speaking of trailers that didn't get me excited for anything, but rather just made me laugh for just dumb reasons. Anybody caught that Rampage one?
Nope.
You are lucky.
I did not want to see it. I have no interest. Like I was telling you earlier, I'm rocked out.
Yo, I believe it was Jeff on the show described it accurately. Rock, it's a movie about a gorilla. Oh, great! I like King Kong. Essentially, I'm pretty sure that's what he thought it was, because the rest of the movie, it has got. I'm not gonna lie. I honestly think this idea was thought up for the Sci-Fi Channel, but when they realized, holy shit, there's actually some way we could tie it to a franchise that was once a video game, and video game adaptation movies are apparently the most popular movies out there. So let's tie a major Hollywood celebrity twist so we can make more money out of it. I have every reason to believe that this was intended for the Sci-Fi Channel, and they just happened to thought, hey, look, we could put The Rock on it and actually make money off of this.
And they will make money off it, I'm sure.
Oh my God.
We'll see.
I can't take any more of The Rock, and I cannot take any more of Kevin Hart. I can't take it. Just go away. Please go away.
Has Kevin Hart
Not
been
funny.
in more this year than
He's in everything. It's like, dude, you're not funny.
Hey, I
Go
think
away.
we might have
you know?
Kendo.
Oh, sweet.
We do have Kendo, you fucking slap nuts.
All right.
How was Justice League?
I didn't hate it. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I got to save my load for the fucking, the flagship because we're doing our shit tonight. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It was all right.
Oh, was it better than you expected?
It was better than I expected. I don't know if that's because the bar was just set so low,
Right.
like
Set real low.
mentally, because the trailers were such dog shit that I was like, man, this movie's going to fucking blow. And then the reviews were coming in. The fan score was high, but the critics review was low. So that, when that happens, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, anything can fucking happen in this movie.
Well, that's what
And-
some of those reviews were saying. It was a mixed bag, and yeah, the interestingly enough, the critic one has gone up to 39%, but the fan one has dropped down to 86. I know it's still pretty big margin there, but they're slowly.
And it's
moving.
only opening day.
Yeah.
So, I saw the movie at 6:00 my time, and there was probably maybe 20 people in the theater.
Awesome.
Oh,
Jesus.
That's actually what I want to know. See more of, because I really want them to just take a breather, take a couple of years to plan something out, kick Zack Snyder really hard in the nuts, and start over.
Yeah, this movie had fucking Snyder's fingerprints all over it. I can tell you that shit.
Oh yeah.
that's
Like-
not good.
I
Well,
mean,
he was involved until his daughter died.
we had explosions, and we had lots of slow mo.
I was just gonna ask you if he had to do the whole slow motion shit.
Well, they did that a lot in Wonder Woman too.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't
but-
like it.
I was gonna say Wonder Woman was 2 hours and 20 minutes. You take out the slow mo, and it's 2 hours. This movie was an hour, almost 2 hours. You take out all the slow motion, it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So without giving anything away, who do you think stole the movie, if anyone?
Who did I like the best? Like of the Justice League?
Yeah, like did Aquaman steal the movie? Did the Flash steal the movie? Like,
Fucking Flash was annoying as shit. Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
she was my favorite. I thought she did the best. No problem. Thank you. I had to get my McRib on.
All right.
they're back,
Rick,
baby.
bitch.
Wait, the
Back.
McRib is back?
Yeah,
They're
the
back,
McRib.
yeah.
Where the fuck have you been, you fucking idiot? Oh yeah, I live in a third world nation. We don't have McRib.
Well, he does live in a third world nation called New York City.
And I've had a buzz going since about 2:00, a sustained buzz. It is amazing. Although it is worn, that's why I'm driving. Although when I get back to camp here in about 10 minutes, that sumbitch is coming back. Fucking love being home. Like after today, check is signed, it's in the bank. Fucking, I don't own the house anymore. I'm back at camp. It's 100%. Oh, it's a good fucking day, boys. I got to spend some time with Father Slice. We talked about the benefits of Bush to no Bush and how it's a generation gap between my group and his group, and how he grew up on Bush, I grew up on no Bush, and we each have a hankering for what the other one got to have and not have and shit. So we had a good day together.
Oh, so you went up there today to close?
Oh yeah, closing was the day, man. It was fucking countdown to liquor day at 1:00 this afternoon.
Oh, very good.
Central Standard.
A to quote
I
the
like-
great booger, we've got.
Wow.
So,
Some of us know what you're talking about, even though you cut out the right in the middle of it.
Honestly, couldn't hear him.
yeah, no, I liked Wonder Woman the best.
Really?
I thought Gal did a very good job. She wasn't as clunky and robotic as she was in BVS. The other day, as you guys are listening and know, that Jeff and I did Wonder Woman movie for the Patreon. And I was the first time I saw it, I liked it. I was like, all right, this is good. I enjoy this movie. It's not as bad as I was it was going to be. I thought it was good. And I think
Does she
she's
show her tits?
No.
she's not short, but
She
there
doesn't
is a
have
lot.
any.
They were looking. They
That
were
was for you,
pointing
Brian.
plenty of cleavage in this movie from Gal Gadot. She wore a lot of leather tight pants things when she was walking around as Diana, and there was a lot of upskirt shots if you caught them. And I was in the fucking zone. I was watching that shit, and so you can see a lot of bottom butt cheek out of Gal, and when she's in Wonder Woman form.
So what about Amber Heard? How was she in it?
Who?
Amber Heard.
Who's Amber Heard?
She played, I forget the name of the character. She's Aquaman's love interest.
Oh, the chick under the sea. She's in the movie like fucking 3 minutes.
Wow. That's the ex Miss Johnny Depp.
She had cleavage.
Yeah, I know. She's got nice cleavage.
She had her rack on display, so that was cool. Henry Cavill was fine. I thought he was all right. I'm still not buying Ben Affleck as Batman. Flash was annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
Who am I leaving out? Aquaman. Liquid Metal Pro will understand this. You guys won't. I hated Aquaman only because every time I saw him and every time he spoke, it looked to me and sounded like Roman Reigns. And
I knew he was gonna say that. I knew.
Like every time, every time they showed him, I'm like fucking Roman Reigns. And every time he spoke and said something,
my man.
Yeah, that was in the movie. My man. I'm like, God fucking damn it. The CGI was I'm like I said, I'm not going to go into it because we got the whole thing going for the main show. I'm just giving you guys a sneak preview. And who the fuck am I leaving out? There's one other guy.
I'm not naming him just so I can see.
Cyborg?
Oh, yeah, Cyborg.
Thanks, Eric.
Well, I was going to say that. I was like, that's Cyborg. I was going to say Cyborg.
Yeah, I was about to type in, don't tell him.
Look,
Hey,
you're getting special
Justice
to the Fancast tonight, okay? You guys are getting something on the Fancast that the Big Show hasn't got yet, which is a Justice League review. Granted, the Justice League review for the show might be out beforehand. I don't know. I don't know when we're doing that. We're kind of just on point, like waiting to see what happened. Phil and them saw it last night. I don't even know if he's going to be on it. Jeff, I think, is seeing it currently. Nick is not seeing it. And Dion saw it earlier today. I got home, unwound, was like, I'm tired. I'm just going to go to the 7 o'clock in Festus. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to 6 o'clock in Arnold. That works. We're doing this shit. And I did it because, I'm cool like that.
All right.
Well, speaking of Justice League, I didn't know this till recently, and I wasn't exactly surprised. Did you know the guy that plays the Flash is queer?
He came off very much so in this movie.
Yeah.
He was very awkward.
Not that that's really that important, I guess, but I don't know. Just the fact that the Flash is queer, I don't know, man. It's kind of unsettling to me.
I personally don't care if the Flash is gay. Just in this movie, he came off as very annoying. He was like he was pretty much Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming. He was very annoying. He tried to play funny one-liners and oh my god, look what I can do. Oh, cool, look at me go. It's like, fuck you. You're the Flash. You're just supposed to be cool.
They should have used Grant Gustin from the TV show. He's actually cool. He can act, and he isn't fag. He isn't a fag. So
I will give you guys one spoiler.
Okay.
At the end, the credits roll, but then they come for a after credit scene, and it is Wonder Woman being Eiffel Towered by Batman and Superman. You heard it here first, folks. That happens. Legit. That happens. They filled her out like an application. That Clay woman was taking it hard.
I'm going to be recording that scene.
That may not have happened, but I imagined it.
Just how drunk were you for that scene?
No, I wasn't actually drunk at that
time. Well, here's the question. Who got the back door?
Superman. Because if everybody knows that Superman had to hammer her from behind while Batman was getting the blowy because only Wonder Woman's womb can handle Superman's load. We've learned this from Brody Cruz.
That is actually true, I believe. I believe they even did that in the comics.
Because if Spider-Man blows a load, it's going to kick and blow right through any woman like a shotgun. Wonder Woman has to take it. She's the only one that has a womb to carry his child. The only way he can bang regular chicks is with a kryptonite condom, and that would kill him.
So, well, only if she stabbed him. It just makes him weaker.
True, but, I mean, you know what it's like. When you finish, and it's good time, you kind of get a little weak feeling. You're like, oh, God, that was awesome. Now go away. I want to go to sleep.
Well, anyway. So, while we're on this subject, we know Kendo's opinion. If you listen to episode 98, What do y'all think of Jake Gyllenhaal might be a Batman sometime in the future?
Fuck.
Bad idea. Bad fucking idea. Bad idea.
Yeah. I agree. I think it was Kendo. Somebody said he's just you can't take him seriously. I could see him as like a Riddler or Joker or some villain, but not Batman.
Well, actually, it would be kind of funny. Wasn't his sister in I know his sister was in one of the Dark Knight movies, wasn't she?
She was in the Dark Knight. Yeah, she played Rachel.
And she is not attractive.
No, she is not.
Nobody's disputing that here, but what I was trying to get at is, can you imagine if they bring her back as a love interest and he's playing Batman?
She's dead.
Just saying. Oh, actually, how do we know? Because remember, they threw the continuity for a damn loop in DC, so for all they know, they could probably reboot Batman again with Jake Gyllenhaal.
What they should do, and they won't do, is bring back Michael Keaton, man.
True.
Yeah, who was it that suggested
Keaton
be the Alfred? Or Keaton be Bruce Wayne and Batman Beyond? Maybe that was...
He'd be awesome at...
Dion,
as Batman again. He'd be awesome.
Because I said we should bring back Michael Keaton, and Dion's like, we could bring back his old Batman Beyond.
Yeah, that would work. The thing with...
the guy can still... He can still act his ass off. All he needs is a fucking stunt double. You're good to go.
Dude, he was the best part of the... what was it called? That Spider-Man
movie. Yeah, I know. He was great.
Iron Man 4 Homecoming.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
He was the best part of that whole movie.
Yeah. Well, my problem with Affleck as Batman is like, I believe him as Bruce Wayne, but not as Batman. It's very odd for me.
No, that's a very good point, because when BVS came out, one of my friends was like, oh my God, Ben Affleck was so great, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, no, he was a good Bruce Wayne. He was not a good Batman. Better than Clooney. Probably better than Val Kilmer. But
the only thing he had going for him as Batman is he had the build. He was a big dude. That's about it.
Yeah.
I didn't look down that way on him, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, if that's what you're into, hey, whatever floats your boat there.
I'm referring to his upper physique, not his lower physique.
Okay.
I'm sure you are.
Well, see, and that's something Gyllenhaal would have to gain about 100 pounds to play Batman.
If you want to go back on this whole looping of rebooting shit, if Heath Ledger wasn't dead, imagine him as the Joker and Jake Gyllenhaal as Batman. Brokeback Gotham.
Oh, God, I thought it was something you were getting at.
You always dig Heath up.
Well, Batman, sometimes there's got to be a little bit of anarchy and a little friction between us.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry. We'll do it for Martha.
Oh, that feels good. Very cramped, but
Oh, by the way, was Martha mentioned in this movie?
No, I don't believe so. I had to pee about 3 or 4 times during the movie because I had a very high liquid intake all afternoon, and I missed some stuff. But I tried to leave during like the boring type shit. So as far as I know, there was the Martha count sat at 0.
Oh man, that was good.
All right. Well, do we want to play our game?
Ooh, you guys are playing a game.
Yeah, we are. We got to have a couple of them, but so this was to go along with last week's announcement of the new Star Wars trilogy. Although I think they said unnumbered. Now, some of us are old enough to remember when Star Wars didn't have numbers except on the scroll.
Yes,
scroll.
I remember.
Blech, can't well, now there's another car.
Roll, Brian. Roll. That's my favorite place, Brian.
Are you just now driving, Kendo?
What?
I thought you were driving.
That's me.
Oh, you're at...
I'm at Chipotle, so I'm going to put you guys on mute here in a minute.
I just rolled into the garage of Camp Kendo.
Well, I heard a car start. Well, Eric, do you want to go first before you put us on mute?
I'm walking in right now, so...
How big a crowd is it?
It's a pretty big crowd. I'd like to have a McRib right now, but
I got 2,
fucking Chipotle.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when you have balls and you know how to put your foot down and command your own life like I do.
Yeah, I used to have balls, but a long time ago.
Why you don't sell them out?
Oh yeah, man.
Welcome to Chipotle. What kind of queer shit do you want to eat tonight?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the idea was, nothing's been announced, but we thought we would pitch our ideas for the new trilogy.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Ray died.
Hey, Brian,
Sir.
before I walk in, I got a great idea for the new trilogy. I want to see Leanne McAdoo in a new updated Princess Leia slave outfit.
Fuck you one.
It'll be great. You got my $12 right there.
All right. So he said he's going to mute us.
Good.
So LNP.
Right off the top of my head, I want to see a trilogy where Rey by Jar Jar Binks, Captain by Jar Jar Binks.
He did a really good job of fucking muting you guys.
I know. Oh, he hung up.
Oh well, I guess that's better.
He dropped.
So yeah, basically mine is just Rey getting killed by Jar Jar, Jar Jar getting killed by Vader, and I don't know, Vader maybe him and Yoda and Luke and Han like smoking a blunt or something somewhere. That's how the trilogy ends.
Da-da, da-da, da-da.
Do you want to go next, Kendo, or do you want me to go?
I have no dog in this fight. I don't want a new trilogy. I don't care. I'm gonna watch it if I'm forced. But other than that, it's gonna suck. So, yeah.
Right.
There you go.
So it was announced this would be, not in line with the current characters or even the past characters. But, I'm going to go with the kind of screwed up nonsense. Kendo, Eric says to save him McRib.
Tell him go fuck yourself.
They did say it in the Fancaste. So I'm going to go with along the lines of the kind of nonsense I think Disney's going to do, because I actually would like to see something based in the Old Republic. But considering it's Rian Johnson, and considering he was one of, 2 directors who was not fired and has been given another project, that tells me he's pretty well whipped and pretty well deep into the SJW camp and is going to be playing along with Kathleen and her stupidity. So we'll probably get maybe set in the Old Republic type thing. We're going to get a strong female character. We'll probably get a whole slew of diversity nonsense. There'll be some old cuck that they're going to have to learn something from and probably kill in the first 10 minutes. I'm sorry, I don't know what the hell Disney's going to do, but here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see more of a different era Star Wars. I wouldn't mind if it was 10,000 years in the future of the Star Wars universe. I'd like to see some swashbuckling type pieces with, maybe smugglers, piratey type, but I'm not saying to do Pirates of the Caribbean in space, but some good guys, some bad guys, maybe a heist movie in there. A real heist, not the Rogue One garbage that we got. Something where someone's got to put a bunch of characters together to maybe steal something, maybe overthrow something. Maybe I don't have an idea, but what I think we're going to get is just lame baloney. But something like, let's see. So we could do kind of start off with a Conan style get together, not, kind of an origin story of our main character, bring together some friends and maybe do kind of a minor adventure, if you will, and then continue on. Maybe something a bit more complicated. Maybe someone portrays them in the second movie. And in the third movie, it's kind of the resolution of conflict, the grand prize gathered, and maybe they kill the friend instead of redemption. No redemption story. Something a little bit, a little edgier.
That's better than my idea of just kill Ray and call it a day.
Well, supposedly she's not going to be in it.
I mean, it's better than my second idea, but still.
So, yeah, I hadn't had time to really think about it. I was trying to mess with Photoshop. All right, so the other thing you wanted to do, LMP, was how many drinks or what kind of drink would it take to have sex with people?
Yeah, I know Eric really wanted to be in this game too. But hopefully he'll get back in time when we get to the really, really good ones. But yeah, basically, Kendo, the game is we name a person, and you basically have to say just how drunk you would have to be to have intercourse with said individual. And it basically all alcoholic beverages are legal for this game. The amount that you would have to drink, whatever. Pretty straightforward. So, that being said, who wants to name the name first?
Is Kendo still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. What did he say? I was in the other room grabbing something.
Oh.
Melissa McCarthy.
What about her? Spec. She's not funny.
How much would How much of what would you have to drink before you would do her?
A couple more of those at least. Let's go with 12. Because then it's like, I'm drunk enough to be able to do this and whatever. And I'll tell the story of the tabloids.
Oh,
my alcohol-fueled romp with Biggin.
That's a BBW. I don't know how we would have owned up to.
Easy.
It wouldn't even be a BBW.
Payday, boy.
All right, so I guess I can go next. Damn, I would have to be.
I'm bringing Eric back in, so.
Oh, good. Perfect timing.
Okay, Mr. Ward. Can you hear us?
God, this fucking McRib is so good.
I'm back.
I'm buying that shit.
All right, LMP's about to give us a name of someone.
Well, I thought we already had a name. We're just taking turns.
No, we're doing
Eric.
what would you have to drink to have sex with somebody?
Okay, so Brian said Melissa McCarthy. Me, I'd probably mix a light in the dark. I'd probably take some vodka and like strong whiskey and drink both bottles simultaneously. And I hope I died of alcohol poisoning during the experience. At least that way she's traumatized for life and does not ever consider the possibility of doing another Ghostbusters. At least not on film.
Girls on Film.
Good song.
Yep. I'm going to get a copyright strike against us one way or the other. Or the other. I'm going to get it.
It's all right, man. This McRib is just so amazing. I can't even begin to describe it. It's so delicious and saucy.
Hey, Ken, don't be an asshole, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. How's your neutered burrito feeling?
Oh, it's going to be wonderful, man. You know what? I'm sneaking out tonight once I get my kids in bed, and I'm going to get a fucking McRib, man.
Liar.
Oh, I'm going it.
Oh, damn, it's awesome.
I haven't had a McRib in ages, man. I just saw one of the billboards the other day. McRib is back, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
I haven't had a bite from it like 2 seconds ago.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's current.
Well, you enjoy your McRib, and I'll enjoy my tasty burrito bowl that I've had countless times.
Well, you do that, buddy.
Still not a McRib.
You know, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go get a McRib, and I'm watching The Punisher tonight. I'm gonna fucking party hard, man.
Good luck.
Oh wait, that's out tonight too, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Once I get my brats in bed, I'm fucking watching The Punisher, man.
Damn it! I was thinking about canceling my Netflix subscription because I just haven't watched that in like ages.
You gotta watch The Punisher, man.
Oh no, of course, that's a given. I'm watching that. Yeah, I'll probably watch that this like Sunday morning when I'm off work.
But it's too violent. Fuck you. It's The Punisher.
No, it's not because it's violent or anything. I just don't have time tomorrow.
No, I'm saying this. I just heard some. I just heard some critiques of it, some criticism. It's too violent. Fuck you.
It's The Punisher. What the fuck?
The violent character.
Exactly. He's not a hero. He blows motherfuckers away.
Right.
Unapologetically.
It's blowing me away right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue this.
Yeah, we know how to kick a man when he's down, Kendo.
I do.
That's what he's best at.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna name a name now.
He's got to see Justice League before us. Gets to have a fucking McRib.
That's right. I beat you like you owe me money and then kick you on the ground.
Damn. Is there any way we could Photoshop today's BBC holding a McRib, or at least putting it on her cleavage or something?
I don't know.
Oh,
wish I was better.
Let me lick it off my hand. Yeah. That's a ticket. God damn.
Let me guess, you having a large Firewire at it too?
No, just the 2 McRibs.
Two?
And a bunch of...
Damn, Eric.
Yeah.
Why have one when you can have 2?
Exactly. Why have Chipotle when you can have a McRib?
You know what? That's a really good question.
God damn, that was delicious. I'm gonna have another one to go still.
I don't know when the last time I had a McRib.
I can tell you the last time I had a McRib.
You know what's really good back in the day, Brian? You remember the McDLTs? The McDonald's?
Yep.
Those were good.
That I remember, and I did like those. So,
What about
And
the
their
Bell Beef?
fries used to be even better.
what was that, Kendo?
The Bell Beefer. It was like a Taco Bell Sloppy Joe. It was before my time. They canceled those in like 84, 85. I was only 1 or 2, so I didn't get a chance to get the Bell Beefer.
Oh,
I don't remember those.
is that a Taco Bell thing?
Yeah.
And we're old, so we should know this. Brian.
Yeah, but I was living in Germany at that time, so
Yeah. No Sprecket, the Taco Bell, and the Krautville.
yeah. I don't know when I would have my first time I've ever even heard of Taco Bell.
Yeah. Making a run for the border in Germany is a very different thing. Holy
Yeah, that's true.
Well, especially
Especially back in the day.
yeah, Cold War. You're running from East Germany. So yeah. Anyway, so are we going to continue playing this game, or will you guys all sound as bored as I do?
Honestly, at this point, the McRib thing was just much more exciting than the game itself.
Oh, shit.
I'm still thinking about a fucking McRib right now. God damn it.
Oh, yeah. I broke the podcast. I love it. I
What
came
is
swooping
McRib
in.
over her?
All right, boys, the mothership is calling. I got to roll. Have fun with the rest of your show and your game and whatever else. And I'm going to go talk about Justice League with the guys. More in depth for the show. And I'm going to enjoy this other McRib. So, Brian,
Yeah, you do that, you asshole.
Liquid Mel Pro, you have yourself a good rest of the evening and a nice weekend. Glad you're feeling better. Brian, I will be in contact with you because I will be in Ohio shortly, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that. And Eric, enjoy the rest of your ride home. Enjoy your neutered burrito bowl, and
I will, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Bye.
Later.
All right, so why don't we just get to the one you wanted to talk about the most? LMP.
Oh, that name?
Yes, that name.
Oh God. Okay, guys. So how? Well, I want to put the kids to bed for this one because this one's gonna get really weird fast.
All right.
Guys, I just got home, so I got to roll, unfortunately.
All right.
I got kids mugging me.
That's all
Next
right.
week, I'll be able to be on for the whole episode because I'm off Friday. So.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Later.
See ya.
Later.
So,
Okay, so
hold on.
before we kill this show tonight,
It is our
let's
last
just
topic. So you were asking about Kathleen Kennedy. Let's just cut to the chase.
yeah. All right. So the question now, ladies and gentlemen, between me and Mr. Lape here is, how drunk would we have to be to have sex with Kathleen Kennedy? And
there isn't enough alcohol on the planet. Sorry, man. I would be doing Irish whiskey shots until nothing worked.
well, to be fair, in Mrs. Kennedy, in Miss Kennedy's situation, she, in my native home of El Mexico, that may or may not be true. I don't know. We have essentially what would be a 10, which would be Mrs. Selma Hayek. She would be a 10. She would be a goddess there. And then a 9 would be Kathleen Kennedy, and then everything else is butt ugly. So, I don't know, maybe like 17 tequilas with like 18 worms, maybe?
Yeah, it takes something like that. That's for
Well,
sure.
she's practically wife material in my native home, so why not? Yeah.
So. All right. So anyway, so let's wrap this thing up. One last thing we have is the BBC for the week, and that is Miss Abigail Ratchford, who's apparently a model. She's got great hips, a great butt, and a great rack. And you should see that some of the images I haven't used, and I'll share them with you momentarily. And I'll figure out if we're going to put Al Franken on it or not. So, but speaking of Frankens, please, if you have not done so, support Frankenthug. Their Indiegogo runs out in about 4 days, like 4.5 days. They still got a long way to go to their goal. This is independent cinema. If you can't support the Go-Go, I'll put the link in, if I can find it, in the description for buying a DVD. You can get it, I think it's $15 if I remember correctly. And so at least you can get the electronic copy. But they're kind of falling short on having a premiere. Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll try again and do a premiere some other time. I don't know. But it's kind of sad between us and the main show that we couldn't help them raise the $5,000 that they need to be in the it's an old but very nice theater considering its size and everything, and like they did for the Strip Club Massacre. So we'll see, but it is made. You are not supporting a. Some people were kind of afraid there was a Kickstarter. This is not a Kickstarter. The movie is made. It is being edited. This is to help promote the movie, to help get people to conventions. The conventions are not free, and if you're showing up as a vendor or something, it's a little bit more expensive, as well as hoping to do a premiere. So this is independent horror. It's kind of tongue-in-cheek. Doesn't take itself too seriously, but hopefully we'll see more of these. I know Richard Tanner said he wanted to do a whole series of the classic horror movies, kind of with an urban theme, and Frankenthug is the first one. So I don't know what else he's got in mind, but hopefully this kind of gets the ball rolling and we see some pretty good work from some people who really love their craft and really love what they're doing. It's not just for the money.
Well, like you said, it's not necessarily just the fear of the Kickstarter. And believe me, as a gamer, we've had a few Kickstarter disasters. Excuse me for
Homestuck. I spent hundreds of dollars on Homestuck. Don't have it.
And then there was like the Mighty Number 9 controversy. For any of you out there, check the Internet Aristocrat video on that if you want a little more info on what happened there and how that was a travesty. And then look at the reviews for the game when it came out. Recently, they had the ukulele for any of you who played Banjo-Kazooie, and we're hoping for a spiritual successor. Basically, what Kickstarter Nightmares can be. So, yeah, there's that little fear of giving your money to the independent producers and such. But always remember that a lot of those, like for example, with those, they try to take themselves way too seriously. They were trying to bite off more than they can chew, especially with the DLC early on and blah blah blah. I've seen some of the stuff that the trailers that Nick put out and some of the clips that he shared with us those few times. It is pretty entertaining. It's pretty hilarious. It's very like you said, tongue in cheek. So I would myself, and I wouldn't mind just giving it a go or watch once. Hey, you're basically spending the same amount in the movie theater as it is, considering ticket prices nowadays, concession stands, fees, and everything. So, like, give it a go, and this is how we gotta inspire more independent media, more alternatives, because ultimately, if you're worried about the Disney takeover, and if you're feeding them, then obviously it's gonna happen. So,
Yep.
In a perfect world, everything would succeed, but this is not a perfect world. We've gone over that even in the beginning of this episode. So you got to give alternatives a shot sometimes, and maybe you might like it, maybe you won't, but hey, at least you're giving someone else an opportunity.
Right.
So,
and the only other thing I've got here for tonight's show is there was a listener comment. I think I know who this is from, but this from last week's video. We have Fanboy Critic Movies. So since Kenny makes fun of me, he does kind of like me, I hope. Good to know. I'll be done with Marvel after Avengers 4, but if they do make a Black Widow gets plowed by Hulk movie, I will probably see it. So there.
No, he won't.
We'll see. But last week's video, we got 46 views and 4 thumbs up. So that one wasn't as watched as some of our past ones. The one with Jessica Simpson on the cover was 117 views. So maybe we need to have more Jessica. I don't know.
Well, who knows? Maybe I'll see if I find a BBC for next week that I don't know. I have to check the video when I recommended BBC, and that did get us a few comments, but they were all from the same person.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But we appreciate everybody that takes time to listen to us. I know tonight we kind of some of us are tired. We had good energy at first, and then kind of dozed off. Kendo was a nice interruption, and after that it kind of went downhill. But it happens. But we will be I don't know if we're going to record next week, being that it's the day after Thanksgiving. I have the day off.
Yeah.
It sounds like Eric has the day off, and we'll figure out behind the scenes what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and the like. And so Abigail, congratulations on being this week's BBC. Everyone, please enjoy the thumbnails.
I like to put my Frank in her.
Right, and I will put a link to her Twitter. I do follow her on Twitter. I came across her because of fitness and other things, and as you can see, she is in good shape. But I don't know much about her.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. I was thinking. Oh God, yeah.
So, anyway, you can catch me on my own channel. I do various things. I am trying to get back into some Braincast stuff, which I've mentioned before. It's just been a crazy time with my new job and everything, but I'm trying to get back to that. It's been a long time, and I don't have any more excuses other than laziness. And I do beer reviews as well as fitness products and as well other things. It's kind of been what I've been doing the last year, but I do a lot of photography stuff. If you have any questions about videography, photography, and all that other stuff, please let me know, and I'll cover things on that channel. So I have been your host. And we got to give a shout out to the main channel. Sorry. And we'll put the links, obviously, to World Class Bullshitters. Hit them up on Patreon. There are some good commentaries that they've had coming out with. Kendo and Jeff did several. They did a DCEU trilogy, although technically some of these things are not DCEU movies. They did Superman 78 and Batman 89, as well as the latest Wonder Woman. I saw all of those in theaters on release. So how many other people can say that? Perhaps Eric, I don't know. And we'll put a link to their Patreon, as well as buy a t-shirt, please. And Jeff's got a lot of t-shirts and posters. He's kind of not hawked them recently. Not sure exactly sure why. I'm still waiting on the Lapis Anus T-shirt to come out, and I don't know what they'll have, but we'll see. Any other thoughts, comments, Mr. LMP?
Damn, this woman is gorgeous. Oh, I'm sorry. I was I may or may have not been
Paying attention.
Oh, that's it. Good night.
All right. So I've been your host for episode 23 of the Fancast. My name is Brain Muffin, and with me has been a bunch of people, and the only person still left is LMP from New York.
Thank you. Come again.